Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of One Piece episode 607. And if you remember from last episode, we find out Virgo is now killing his own G5 crew members. This is definitely worth mentioning, and Sanji now steps in and he's protecting Tashigi from Virgo. Okay, that was definitely worth mentioning. Now moving on past that, we find out Nami's group. Yeah, they're still dealing with the dragon. Yeah, that little baby dragon per se, so they've got a lot on their plate, kind of, but moving on past that, what about Chopper? Okay, Chopper saves the girl which was originally kidnapped by Caesar Clown. However, she doesn't believe Caesar Clown kidnapped her. In fact, she believes at that time Caesar Clown was probably curing her of some random disease of some sort per se. But anyways, let's back it up just a little bit. Chopper saves this little girl's life by giving her a shot, which is supposedly going to cure her of whatever that candy that Caesar Clown was giving her. And it looks like it works. This girl is now cured. But moving on past that, we're taking to a little cutscene with Luffy and Smoker. They make it to Caesar Clown's room. Finally. And again, that's where the episode ends. And all my final thought and rating at the end of the clip. So stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with Luffy, and he punches Caesar Clown right off the bat. And yes, fans, I loved every moment of it. Every moment of it. Luffy kicking Caesar Clown's ass with an amazing punch. However, Monet looks confused. And I thought that was hilarious. Of course Monet looks confused. How could Luffy kick Caesar Clown's butt right off the bat? I'd be a little confused too, but you know what? Her expression was priceless. But moving on past that, we find out Smoker, he leaves Luffy behind to go after Virgo. So after going all this way to find Virgo at Caesar Clown's room, he finds out, wait a minute, Virgo is nowhere in Caesar Clown's room. So he leaves Luffy behind to take care of Caesar Clown while he hunts down Virgo. What the fuck? I thought they were going to double team Caesar Clown and Monet, but that's not the case. Smoker leaves to go find Virgo. I was like, what? Are you serious? That could have been an amazing matchup, but you know what? Let's move on past that. We could see Caesar Clown versus Luffy. I shit you not. Caesar Clown versus Luffy yet again. Now, Caesar Clown catches on to the alliance that Luffy and Law had. No surprise there. I mean, he already was self-aware of that previously, so he's now bringing that up yet again. Again, no surprise there. Now, Caesar Clown, he uses his Kurakune right off the bat, and I hope I pronounced that right. If not, bite me. Literally. But anyway, Caesar Clown uses his Kurakune right off the bat, which it takes all the oxygen around you away. I guess that's part of his power, of his Devil Fruit. So we see Caesar Clown using his special ability, and he's consuming all the oxygen around him, making it impossible for Luffy to breathe. Now, Luffy, right off the bat, he finds Caesar Clown's main weakness of his power. Apparently, Caesar Clown can't consume the oxygen from a certain distance, so Luffy is trying to space himself out so he can get some oxygen between the fight. And that's a smart move in my opinion, but you know what, that doesn't prove that well. Come on, Caesar Clown isn't that stupid. He's going to try to pull you in just to take the oxygen from you. So this is turning out to be a bother. I say this in the best way I can. It's a bothersome battle or fight in this case because you're just going back and forth with the same bullshit. So it annoys me. Luffy could have ended this anytime he wanted with his haki, but he chooses not to. So a little repetitiveness on what he could have done versus what he's not doing, if that makes any sense. But anyways, moving on past that, we're taking to a little cutscene with Luffy, and Luffy uses his second gear, then his jet pistol right off the bat, and then Caesar Clown uses his blue sword. And yes, I am impressed when I see his blue sword. It reminds me of Brook's technique, but you know what, it's totally different, of course, because different Devil Fruit powers, obviously. But anyways, Luffy's power isn't bad in this case versus the oxygen consumption by Caesar Clown. I'm just saying, terrible matchup power-wise, and Luffy is definitely trying, but Caesar Clown uses his blue sword, and then Caesar Clown uses his gastanets right off the bat. It's an interesting combination, and it does work. Luffy is kind of defeated in this case, but we're taking to a little cutscene before we can see any more beyond that, where we see Virgo versus Sanji. Now, that matchup, believe this or not, I was not rooting for Sanji. I was rooting for Virgo. I mean, this is Virgo we're talking about. We don't know a lot about you, other than you're ranked above Smoker, kind of. I mean, that's saying something. I mean, this is Smoker we're talking about. And to say this guy is better than Smoker is a statement. So when I hear Virgo versus Sanji, I'm rooting for Virgo. Well, guess what? Their legs, when they're fighting, they're using their legs. Apparently, they're evenly matched. I'm like, you're shitting me. Not only can Virgo is on the same level as Sanji, and Sanji's on the same level as Virgo, but they're evenly matched. Get the fuck out. And Sanji right off the bat, he uses his flinchette strike, and it's a direct hit. And I don't believe I've ever seen this technique before. It's called like a flinchette strike. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But it definitely wowed me. But not enough for me to take this fight seriously, if that makes any sense. So we're getting to a little cutscene with the dragon with Nami's group. Now this dragon is still chasing Nami's group, not really giving them a chance to breathe. And it's kind of annoying. But you know what? This dragon has a background, and you're going to love this background story, but we don't get to hear it in this episode. It's coming up, trust me, in the next upcoming episodes, and you're going to be thrilled on that background. But anyways, this dragon is still chasing Nami's group, no surprise there, so moving on past that, onto the D building. Yeah, the D building where Law is at. Law is using his room technique on Caesar Clown's men, which are technically Brownbeard's men. I mean, let's be honest, Brownbeard's men are still clueless on what really is going on. Suffice to say. But anyways, Law is taking out Caesar Clown's men using his technique called Room. No surprise there. And I love saying that word, by the way. Anyways, moving on past that, we're taking a little cutscene with Luffy and Caesar Clown. They're still fighting. I thought Luffy was kind of out for the count. I mean, he looked like he was being screwed over with not having any oxygen available. But you know what? Caesar Clown uses his blue sword once more, and it's... okay, right now it's getting annoying. That's all Caesar Clown has been using is his blue frickin' sword. It's an eyesore. Let's be honest. He's not Brook. Brook made it look beautiful when he uses his sword technique. This Caesar Clown guy, when he uses his blue sword technique, it annoys the fuck out of you. He doesn't use it just once, not twice, but 3-4 times, and so on and so forth. It annoys the fuck out of you. Be honest. It annoyed me. But anyways, Luffy kicks Caesar Clown finally, and he uses his hockey. Finally! I mean, it was about fucking time. So Luffy grows a pair of balls, he uses his hockey, finally. But we're moving on past that to Sanji versus Virgo. Now Virgo, he gets lucky, and yeah, he gets back up while the doors are kind of closing in. And Virgo turns around, and he runs. Kind of. He turns around. This is Virgo we're talking about. He gets himself back up while the doors are shutting, and he turns his arm into a metal-like substance, if that makes any sense. And when I say metal, I mean it's like when Luffy uses his armament. So Virgo is using hockey on Sanji. I'm like, oh shit, that shit has hit the fan. Now those doors where Sanji and Virgo are at are closing, so the time is kind of thinning down on this fight on how long it can go on. But you know what? Moving on past that, we're taking a little cutscene with Caesar Clown versus Luffy. Now Luffy is using his armament hardening. About time, right? And then his jet Gatling. And I love the effects. I love seeing this. A lot of nostalgia. However, Monet butts the fuck in. Just when Luffy's about to finish off Caesar Clown, Monet butts in. And Caesar Clown is now retreating. And Monet is now taking over. So now it's Monet versus Luffy? What? This is not what I want to see. It's like saying this is Robin versus Luffy. I mean, Monet is not stupid. She's actually smart, but she's not on Caesar Clown's side. She's using Caesar Clown for Virgo and Joker's benefit. So anyways, this is the bottom line. Monet versus Luffy, and Caesar Clown is now retreating, or in this case, he has escaped to wherever Law is at. Now, speaking of Law, just had to bring this up. Law has now entered the SAD manufacturing room for God knows what reason, but it's a dangerous room. At least that's what is being shown within the anime series. So this SAD manufacturing room, which Law is now in, is a dangerous room. It has you questioning, is Law still a good guy, or does he have ulterior motives of something more villainous? Maybe. We still don't know. Now, toward the end of the episode, guess what? Virgo, he runs away from Sanji. Come on, I didn't see that coming. I mean, this is Virgo. He looks like a hard-ass criminal now. I assumed he was going to put up more of a fight, but he turns away and runs. Now, Smoker is looking for Law. Apparently, Smoker was looking for Virgo, he's looking for Law at the same time, something along those lines, and that's where the episode ends. As for final thoughts, okay, well, first of all, what is the SAD manufacturing room? What is the significance? Who created it? Probably Dr. Veggie Punch or something like that. Who knows? I still can't wait to find out the significance, more or less. But moving on past that, Monet. We know you're on Virgo/Joker's side. I got that. But what's your background story? What's the deal? Were you originally a pirate, a Navy member, some random experiment gone wrong? We know you're a logotype user, but that's it. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, that ends it for my final thoughts. Nothing special there. As to my final rating, 3 out of 5. I know it was kind of iffy when I first started doing my walkthrough and review of this, but let's be honest, I gave this a 3 out of 5 because of all the matchups. Come on, Sanji versus Virgo. We have Luffy versus Monet, Luffy versus Caesar Clown. You know, that's a lot of verses we're talking about. And then seeing Chopper kind of help out the girl, supposedly, you know, that little light bulb up. But again, this episode was about verses, people fighting other people. And to sum that up in a different way that makes more sense, Luffy basically fighting Monet and Caesar Clown. That was a direct build-up. However, we were expecting more of Smoker, more of Law. That was more of a letdown, which is why this didn't give a 3.5 out of 5. So final rating, 3 out of 5. And that actually ends it for my walkthrough and review of One Piece episode 607. Definitely comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe. Check me on Twitter and follow me if you like. Let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's going to happen in the next episode that's coming out. But again, guys, that ends it for now, and I got to hit the bricks, and I got to go. And before I go, I got to say it, and I always say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.